Hello, viewer. This is Kashif Amin exclusively from ZABFM Digital. I welcome you all in Meet and Greet show. I am thrilled and honored to introduce an incredible and diversified professional if we talk about global health, climate change, and technology. Dr. Mohammad Irfan Khan is associated with International Islamic University, Islamabad as professor. He is a researcher, teacher, and mentor for many students who are aiming to choose health, climate change, and technology as their profession. Moreover, he is also a vibrant member of Government Standing Committee for Environmental Governance. Dr. Irfan Khan is also attached with United Nations as consultant for various assignments globally. So let's start with his insightful views. Dr. Irfan Khan, can you walk us through your education, research, and professional background?
Thank you very much, Kashif. Let me introduce briefly. I have been associated with the International Islamic University as a professor and dean of the Faculty of Sciences just for uh, over a month ago. Since I retired by superannuation on the 31st
Mhm.
of March after serving for 37 years in the universities. So, but still I'm associated with the International Islamic University as most of the research students, they are still
Wow.
continuing. My basic education was at the Government College Lahore, and I did my master's in 1985. At that time, there was no one talking about environmental science or environment and climate area. There was no department either at the
True.
government level or in the education institution. So I did my master's in zoology from Government College Lahore, and then I joined Bahauddin Zakariya University as a lecturer, founding and member of the faculty of the Institute of Plant and Applied Biology in 1989. I moved to England for post research fellowship and the scholarship from the government of Pakistan at the Imperial College London, where they have just a year back started a new Center for Environmental Technology, and I
Wow.
was among the pioneers of environmental science and technologies at the Imperial College London. When I finished in 1994, from there, came over here, I got an opportunity to work on the environmental policy issues at the Center for Environmental Change and Management at the University of Oxford till 1996.
Wow.
After that, I joined International Islamic University. Before that, Allama Iqbal Open University as a founding member of the faculty for establishing a new department of environmental science for nearly 5.5 years there. And then I moved to World Bank and Asian Bank and I've been serving as a consultant in many countries in Middle East and Central Asia and South
Wonderful.
Asia. Then in 2006, and I joined International Islamic University again,
Mhm.
back to academia. I started in academia. I spent nearly 17, 18 years in academia, then 2, 3 years back into the international world, and then returned back to academia. But now joining this academia with my experience working in the field, so that enriched my knowledge. And then I started concurrently working as a consultant and advisor to many organizations in the country and abroad, along with teaching and research. So I supervise almost 15 PhDs and more than
Wow.
50 MPhil and MS students, and they have been doing research. So after my PhD, my area was basically pure science and technology. But the year I spent in Oxford University, that has moved my whole, what you call the outlook about the
Mhm.
environment, and I moved more towards governance and policy distortion in these issues. And then again, I've been working with the World Bank and Asian Development Bank in many countries, uh, mostly in the area of governance and environmental management at the policy level, planning level. So my whole research career at the university, mostly in the last 15 years, it is around energy policy, energy management, transport policies, water management, water policies, and all about, you can say in one word, environmental governance. And a couple of my students, they also did their PhDs in a very unique area, which is called the environmental diplomacy, that we explored within the South Asia, the SAARC countries, and environmental diplomacy, which is interprovincial within the country, particularly on the issues of water. So that has been my little background working with
Wonderful,
this.
sir.
And
Wonderful.
as a environmental enthusiast, over 40 years when I started a club and the UNESCO club as a student of the Government College Lahore, and that was back in 1982, 83. So it's over 40 years association with my passion with the environment and environmental management issues, environmental conservation issues.
Wonderful, sir. So I must say, what a great diversity you possess. Not only as far as academics are concerned, but also because of the association with the industry. Plus, as you mentioned, you are also involved in research and supervising various students. So, sir, this is really important because we are today discussing the topic of global health, climate, and technology and intersectional approach. So, in your opinion, why should people care about the topic of climate and health?
Why should people care of? First thing, they should care because they're not aware of it. They are thinking this climate is an environmental issue, but it's not only a health issue. Health is also an economic issue, right? It is also a social issue. So you see, under the impact of climate change, if there is a drought, if there is flood, if there is heat waves, all they are culminating into health problems.
True.
If it is a heat waves, the ultimate impact will be on the human health. If it is a flood, it's not effect due to drowning in the water. Lot of vector diseases by mosquitoes and other area or waterborne diseases coming in this area. That in the drought area, again, lot of other vector carriers, they become more effective. So with all these things, if your economy is affected under the impact of the climate change, that is ultimately going to affect your budget and the provision for the health services.
That's
So
true.
therefore, they must take care of it, and it is not the area that it is something coming out of the nature. It's a natural phenomena. They must consider that we are also responsible for anthropogenic phenomena as well, where we are also contributing to the necessary factor, which is aggravating the impact.
Okay, so Dr. Irfan, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge, whether it's climate or it's health, and whether or not technology can provide any support through integration to resolve it? If so, how this will be possible?
Technology, this is the era of technology. And behind technology, there is engineering, and beyond engineering, there is a science. And behind science is a philosophy. Now, integrating the not only technology, rather this informatics, the digital area, where we call there are two domains, which is called the geoinformatics, ecoinformatics, and health informatics,
Hmm.
where you can integrate the information. For example, if there is a flood, you can have an early warning system where you can integrate technology, rather the digital technology, to
Correct.
plan your activities to mitigate the impact of the climate change, the impact of the mitigation of the impact of flood or drought. So here you can
Hmm.
integrate all these things. Secondly, the effect of climate change, which are being aggravated due to our activities, we must know that there is technology available now, which is carbon efficient, the energy efficient system, water efficient system. So we
That's
have
true.
to adopt the low carbon technologies, zero carbon
Hmm.
emissions vehicles. Now we have hybrid, from hybrid to we're moving towards electric vehicles. Similarly, in housing, there were refrigerators, they were producing freon gases, contributing to CFC. Now we have CFC-free refrigerants available in air conditioning in our refrigerators. So these are the
Hmm.
technology where we can integrate to control the emission of carbon, which is aggravating the rising the temperature towards to global warming. And here we can curb down that. On the other side, we have to integrate the technology by planning. And another important thing, due to this geoinformatics, health informatics, a lot of databases can be developed. And data is important for decision making now. So data, if it is through this information technology, that will make your processes very efficient, very quick. So there is really hope if we integrate our planning system with the digital technology and the traditional structural technology, then we can definitely manage most of the issues of the climate change.
Okay, so as you spoke about technology and data and digital systems, so may I know what kind of technology or digital interventions are in your use currently and whether or not they are effective?
You see, most of the time, the scientists they are using two tools: remote sensing and geographic information system (GIS).
Hmm.
And for that, we definitely need data. And unfortunately, if you're considering the situation of Pakistan, we have data at many organizations, but there is no coordination among them.
Hmm.
Everybody is working, every organization in their own silos. So
Hmm.
that's why what we need is integration of available data. And most of the time, people they consider they have generated this data, so it has become their property, so they just keep it with them. Don't for analysis, and so it will become like after some time a useless data. See,
Hmm.
outdated. So if there is a coordination between like meteorological department, environmental protection agencies, our agriculture department, our
Health
Health
department.
department.
what you call Indus River System Authority, IRSA, our Federal Flood Commission at its level, and our provincial irrigation systems, WAPDA, and all these institutions, they are one way or the other training data.
Okay.
Okay.
But problem is this integrated form of data, if it is utilized in a consolidated and integrated GIS system, then
Hmm.
you can have a meaningful. So sometimes we provide one kind of data and that required another set of data which is not available or maybe available to some other organization, but it's not being provided. So in that case, all remaining like bits and pieces. So this
Hmm.
Hmm.
is a puzzle that doesn't come into a picture.
And where do you see, okay, and where do you see the piece of health system? If I ask you where to place the health department or health system, how would you rate it?
You see, health system actually come at the end of this chain
Okay.
Okay.
as an impact. They are
Okay.
not supposed to generate this data for about the environmental health and other thing area because health department is in fact is the effective, the most effective. So it has to be supported by in the system in environmental governance, environmental management, so they can provide a clean and healthy environment. So automatically the health department they will be under less burden. If there is less disease, morbidity, ultimately there will be less burden on our primary, secondary, and tertiary education health systems. So I think
Okay.
they are not supposed to generate this data. Yes, of course, they are uh, responsible to
Consumer
Consumer
of the
of the
provide
data.
data.
feedback.
Yes.
Yes.
Consumer of the data, and also they can also give very important feedback. For example, what kind of patient they are coming to the hospital, the secondary or primary healthcare systems, whether they are due to waterborne diseases, stomach area, or they are like
That's
That's
true.
true.
respiratory, airborne disease over here. So that data will reflect that whether air system is more polluted or our water system is more polluted. So that can
Correct.
provide.
Correct.
So they are the end consumer of the data, but their
Consumer of the data.
information, unfortunately, they just need the data of what is your name, what is your age, from where you came in.
And sir, another very okay. So you just highlighted the various gaps which are prevailing in Pakistan currently. So being traveler and being consultant of different UN organization, may I know if there is a good kind of work which is being done in other parts of South Asia, like neighboring countries? If you have noticed, would you like to quote any example?
South Asia, I think Sri Lanka have relatively better system due to I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
their mass literacy rate is high, so the people are more aware of they can take care of their health compared to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh area. That's
Okay.
one
Okay.
of the reasons. But
Hmm.
if you compare with the advanced countries over here, unfortunately, our primary and secondary healthcare system has collapsed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Our whole burden has come to the tertiary healthcare sector. Go to Karachi JPMC or Jinnah Hospital and Mayo Hospital, Lahore, or things in Islamabad over here. Their
That's
That's true.
OPDs are flooded with people. Why they are flooded with people? Because the OPD they are supposed to be provided this kind of services to your primary health system. But because the primary healthcare system has collapsed and it has been replaced with a private health system, the private health system not everybody can afford. So our whole system come on the tertiary healthcare system. So that's why what I'm
Okay.
saying that the data they do not keep it these things because a doctor if he has to look 100 plus patient at a time or 150 patient at a time, I think it is possible for him or her that what is the name, what is age, and where from you came. In that way, if they have a sufficient time to talk to the patient, realize and analyze the situation, what are the causes of it, they don't go for the causes, they just give that this antibiotic and this
Okay.
overuse.
Okay.
If they give this feedback, whether it is a waterborne, is a foodborne, or some air communication, so that will really have to improve our healthcare system.
That's awesome, sir. So, sir, after having 40 years of nearly experience and working in industry, academia, research, uh, if I ask you what excites you the most about the future of climate and health?
What is one thing that
Exciting. Exciting is really difficult
climate?
question to answer because at the moment there is no excitement in that area. Only your concern and worries about these things because people are still not too much take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I think the only good news I found today in the newspaper that the Supreme Court has ordered to establish the Pakistan Climate Change Authority within 15 days. That was
Wow.
supposed
Wow.
to be established in 2017. And in my many of the media interviews and my articles down in the area, I've been highlighting for the last 5 years. And sometimes ministers they were criticizing me, and sometimes people say you're always criticizing government. Today, the Supreme Court has given an order. Climate change authority must establish within. We
Thank
Thank
you
have
you
for
for
sharing
sharing
this
this
news
news
with
with
us.
us,
we
Really.
have
really.
made a climate change policy in 2012, and then we developed an implementation framework in 2015, and then we slept. Then in 2017, we established Pakistan Climate Change Act.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Then in 2021, before going to the COP27, we have established just on paper Pakistan Climate Change Council. And next year, before going to the UN conference, the then caretaker, sorry, the PDM Prime Minister, who is the still Prime Minister, he just had a meeting a week before, and then they went over there, and then we're talking about 2020 flood and loss and damage assessment, and we went to other area, and again it was not established. So when they were talking
Okay.
about loss and damage fund, so fund has to be utilized or managed through a certain institution or the instruments which are available. Environment Protection Act Section 4 is this area, that Climate Change Management Fund. So that we have not established. So if that was the reason, the World Bank, the Asian Bank, or the UN agency, when they have so $1 billion global climate change fund, we are not able to tap. So they have lack of interest. They say to whom we should give it? Give it to the federal government, to the
Fine.
Fine.
provincial government. So that's why when you have a national climate change authority and it has an established funds, manage its rules are already existing over there. Then you have institutionalized the disbursement of that money. So then
That's
will
That's
definitely
correct.
give a level of confidence. So that's the good news today. I think the more exciting for me as well because most of the people they are having discussion, and some when they were sharing my old interviews 2 years, 3 years back when I was talking about these things. That's your dream can fulfill now today by Supreme Court.
So finally, we reached here. Wonderful, sir. Sir, private sector is very vibrant in Pakistan. So this is something which is really positive. So, what do you think? How public and private sectors can collaborate in harmony to achieve a mutual gain?
You see, the public sector mostly, if you come to the industry of the area, we don't have that much state-owned industries like steel mills and area. The main job of the public sector is to provide the policy framework, the regulatory framework to regulate these things and
Mhm.
facilitate them, give them incentives to the industry. And the industry in return, when they realize that this is not only for the taking care of the environment, we can earn money, we can also save money. For example, we're talking about water conservation. If they save the water, ultimately, they're saving money. If we talk
yes.
about
Yes.
energy conservation, whether fuel or the power, anything, whenever you are conserving this area, so you will definitely cutting down your bills. And when you're cutting down your bills, your cost of production will definitely be improved. It will lessen, and then you have better opportunities to compete in the national and international markets. I think they should be given some facilities, incentive by the public. Public accepted the government. So that's the only way to move forward.
So the room for performance is huge. if we talk about collaboration between
We're
private and
talking
private
about for
sector.
the so many years about capacity building of the industries. Industry, I think they were not interested. Industrialists mostly they are uh, interested how they can earn more profit. And if you're giving them the example of take care of the environment, for example, you say you install a wastewater treatment plant, it will cost you 25 million rupees. Then they will say, oh, why do I use it? When you say
Mhm.
that you make it, you reuse this water, and you will save your water consumption bills. So sometime will definitely be required for a payback period, and ultimately you will be getting this thing. But if you're going for a renewable energy or some solar kind of system, you initially invest, and later on you get it paid it back. In that case, will be more inclined towards using environmental management practices in their business operations.
Great, sir. So in the interest of time, I would also love to know, being a subject matter expert and association with public sector, private sector, research, academia, any advice which you would like to give someone who is aiming to choose global health, climate, or technology sector?
I
As a
think
professor, the field of
yes, as
discipline.
a professor to the youngsters who want to join this profession, get education, and to the faculty as well, because so far uh, the environmental education in Pakistan or environmental science education in Pakistan, it has been dominated by people from basic science,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
biology, chemistry, physics, microbiology these days. Environmental science, in fact, is an interdisciplinary science where there is a heavy input of economics now, economic instruments, economic tools. There is a heavy
True.
input from the social sciences, management sciences, even
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
international relations and law and legal aspects regulatory. So, one of the wonderful subjects, in fact, is being taught in a very boring manner
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because the teacher who are teaching the subject in the universities, 90% of them, they are not even qualified or even
Yes,
Yes,
graduates in
environment.
environmental
environmental science.
scientist.
That's
That's
true.
true.
They are from the different fields, so justify their own presence, their own expertise, their own skills. They modify the curriculum, they modify the courses in a way that they are comfortable with that. And that leaves behind the national objective of this field. Ultimately, what happened? Those young graduates, when after getting the degree, go to the market. The market required certain skills. That set of skills, those young students, they are lacking.
Yes.
Yes.
When they don't get job, so that create frustration, and they call other two. This is not the area. This is not the field. You shouldn't go over there because what you are teaching over. It's like very common in our engineering universities also. When our young engineer they go to the market, realize what we have been studying in the university is almost not here, or it is maybe the obsolete. So this is happening with the
So
environmental science area as well. So my advice to all these areas, because they must learn an integrated and interdisciplinary approach to deal
Mm-hmm.
with the environment, because ambit of the environmental science or environmental management is as wide as environment itself. So you have to look at from the multiple angles.
thank you very much, Dr. Irfan. It has been really a fertile discussion, and I must say that you shared valuable opinion, insightful views from your point of view, because you have been engaged with different sectors, including public government, and then as a consultant for the United Nations organization. It was really pleasure meeting you, and hope to see you as a vibrant player after the introduction of the act, which recently Supreme Court has made. Very kind of you for your time. Thank you, Dr. Irfan.